Today's message from Reverend Christian Sorensen was recorded on January 7th, 2018, and it's the annual Questions and Answers, Affirming, My Life is a Dream in 2018. And today we welcomed back the passion, spirit, and talent of Kenny Dye, who can be found on our website or on Facebook from links from joyouspodcast.com. And of course, you can always visit us at seasidecenter.org, and you can join us in Encinitas, California anytime, and where we always have great music, a spirited message, and a joyful, loving, vibrant community that await you.
Such a blessing for all of us to be here together this morning, and you are in the right place, starting out 2018 the right way. You're in for a big treat this morning with the guest artist. She has been here before, and if you've been checking out the Wednesday night services, you will recognize her from there. She sings all around San Diego, and if you would like to hear more of her music or see where she's playing next, just check out her website at kennydye.com. Please welcome Kenny Dye.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Feels really great to be here this evening. Who's ready to see 2017 that way and 2018 this way? I am.
On an old trail, no one passing by, no one's there to hear me as I cry. And all the birds are singing, taunting me with songs as I'm lying hopeless, dead and gone. And you know where you're not here. And I'm nowhere, filled with fear, lying all around me are pieces of the earth, a life that's fallen down to find rebirth, reaching towards the sunlight, trying to escape, to live beyond the rubble and the shade. In new life, it finds a way to keep growing and always change. But I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn. Yeah, I'm moving on, and I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. Never promised a life without some pain. Well, even sunny skies send us rain. And all that we've been given is for us to choose what we want and what we've got to do. And I'm nowhere that I'm not meant to be. And I see it. Oh, I see my relief. And I'm running free. And I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn. Yeah, I'm moving on, and I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change, and I'm not going back to what I've known. The light moving on. And I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. And we're nowhere we're not meant to be. Oh, so run, 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 run. Just run free. And we're nowhere we're not meant to be. Oh, so run, run, run. Just run free. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn. Yeah, I'm moving on.
That is Kenny Dye. Woo! That is the perfect song to start the new year. It could be an anthem into the new year. I am not going back to what I've known. The line has been drawn. I'm running free. I like that. I like it. You know what? Let me have this microphone as you're running off there. Good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, gosh, that is good. I just feel so good. It's up moving. I got the energy flowing. Hey, 2018 is going to be fabulous, and I am committed to assisting you to experience the fullness of your dreams in 2018. And so we're going to continue to share spiritual principles. And what I like to do at the beginning of every year, at least I've done it like most of my years in ministry, is to do this question and answers. Is giving you the opportunity to ask a question, and I trust an answer will come through me. And so, the rules of the game here are not to tell your story. You know, I'm supposed to be doing the talking this morning, I think. So, but I want the questions, but I want them like telescopic brevity, man. Like woo, laser, right to the point. Hey, this is the question. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pass this microphone around, and we'll give you a brief opportunity to ask your question. And if for some reason you run out of questions, I got the textbook right there, and I'll have you shout out a page, and we'll pick something from Ernest, and I'll talk on that. But I've yet to run out of questions. So are you ready? That's good, because if you get your questions resolved as you move into 2018, you're going to be running free, I think, as Kenny was telling us to do. So, okay, who has a question? Yes.
What have you done that you never, ever imagined you could do?
Well, I think 35 years of ministry was way beyond my teenage perspective. And that. So that was good. You know, getting this place... Seaside, I can remember when Carolyn was on the board and many others that are still here. And we had this vision, and we had no money in the bank account, but we had a vision, and we had a dream. And we went into the courtroom with borrowed money. It took $25,000 just to get into the courtroom. And, you know, everybody who was there was bidding, and the city finally had $1 million, said, we'll take it, no contingencies. And Spirit just moved Seaside to stand up and say, what would it take to beat the city? And then we got it. And then the city decided not to change the zoning so quickly because they really wanted the property. And it was 4 years from 98 to November, the first Sunday in November of 91. It was almost 4 years it took us to get in here. But you know what? We held on to a vision. And I can't say we didn't know it was possible because we knew, but it was amazing to watch all the miracles that unfolded, loans that came when we didn't have collateral, and architects to lead the charge, and it was truly an amazing journey for sure. So I guess my big thing here is listen to that dream inside you and go for that. So that's it. All right. Bill.
Christian, I get this question all the time.
Oh, good. All right.
If God is all there is and God's everywhere, why do we experience so much evil in the world?
Okay, great question. So, if God is everywhere and all that there is, which is a great premise to come from in your life, because if you know the infinite means there can be nothing else, I mean, think about that, guys. I ask you that question all the time. That's when I'm doing the question asking. And but if God is all there is, then what's this evil stuff that's going on? Well, It is a great question, and you know what? There is, in this world of form, there are human experiences. There is the sickness, there is physical deterioration or disease, there is just nasty stuff that goes on, and that is in the physical form. But the challenge comes when one gives their power away and says that's the ultimate. Just because something has gone on that is atrocious, and it is atrocity, doesn't mean that Spirit's still not right there in the midst. If God is everywhere, then my job begins to be the one who has to look for it in the midst of a 9/11, or in the midst of a bombing, or in the midst of incest in the home. Yes, you've got to remove yourself from that challenge or that evil experience as quickly as you can. Or as I said at the first service, you got your hand in the fire. You got to take it out of that fire before the healing can begin to unfold. But what we must be willing to do is to look at that evil or the challenge or the difficulty in the face and say, okay, hey, I see you, but you know what? There's something greater than that. My God is bigger than any challenge or difficulty that this world can throw at me, because there is no large or small in the mind of God. At least that's what Ernest Holmes tells us. Being that God is everything, you may be thinking this dynamic is huge, but you know what? Spirit is bigger. And it's like, where's Waldo in the picture? My job begins to be, where's Waldo? My job is I need to bring a new thought to this challenge, to this prognosis, to this separation. I need to be the one to bring the new thought in the Spirit, because all the Spirit needs to be is revealed here. If you've ever polished silver, which I think people don't do anymore, but yeah, you do. I grew up in a home where it was like a person who lived with us. She loved, so she said, polishing silver. And it was like tarnished. And it's not like you could put the silver back on. What you do is you remove the crud and it sparkles again. Well, when we have got the evil or the negative going on in our life, it's not as if I'm trying to get God there, because God has never left. What has happened is the crud has come over it, and what I need to do is remove that. And that's what we learn in our classes. This is what we learn with our spiritual practices, is to remove the crud or our belief, because we put our belief in form. We put our belief in the doctor's prognosis. We put our belief in the prognosis of the economy. We put our belief in the headlines. And if the headlines are horrible, a good friend of ours, religious scientist Dr. Michael Beckwith, says that headlines are the world's call for prayer, And what that means is I need to begin to bring that God consciousness to where it is not appearing, because God is not there, or God's there. And you get to be the one to bring that higher consciousness, or the Christ consciousness, of the greater possibility. So it is a great question. And those that are not on the spiritual path may not get this long answer I just gave you. And so you just got to say, believe that God's there. And it's our job to see that. And then you become the bringer of that Christ light, or the Christ consciousness, because you're the one who says, you know what, Spirit is here. And yes, this is terrible what's going on, but there's something greater that wants to emerge out of this situation. And I'm putting my faith and belief in the emergence of Spirit in the midst of the darkness. So, who has another? Carolyn. Yes. Jackie's coming down with the microphone. And I just got to honor our ushers and greeters. They are here week after week, year after year. And they're the first faces we see, familiar faces, and we just love you and appreciate the work you do. So, Carolyn.
My question is, I'm so blessed that my brother had a diagnosis a couple months ago, and it was just blown away, and he's in perfect health, and have a dear friend who also had not a great diagnosis, and within 3 hours with people praying, all that got changed. So would you like to share about consciousness and prayer and how that works?
Oh, beautiful. Well, really, that is the thrust of this movement, is demonstrating. All these wonderful words and philosophies on prayer works, and they're all beautiful. But unless you can make that happen in your life, you don't really have it. And so one of the beauties at Seaside is we have these wonderful spiritual practitioners who have spent years and years developing that consciousness so they can look into a dark situation or an evil situation or a prognosis and not label it as horrible, but recognize that this is the physical fact of what's going on, but the spiritual truth is higher than anything else. And so the spiritual practitioners, particularly the ones that have been licensed, are trained in this kind of art to know that truth. And with Spirit, all things are possible. Yes? That is like all the philosophies. And what we come to recognize is we're not reaching out to spirit, which is what differentiates us from all those other philosophies. It's what makes our prayer different, is that we're not reaching out to a spirit that is outside. We come back to what Bill was talking about, that God is everything, and God plus nothing leaves God, right? Everything, there isn't room for anything else. So the truth of your being is spirit. The truth of who you are is spirit expressing. And you get to decide at what level that is going to express. And that's what we do our spiritual work and our meditations and our reading and our contemplations to lift that consciousness. So when we are called to pray, it's not, God, would you help me here? It is, I am expressing as God. That's profound difference than prayer. Most people's prayer is praying to something outside. What we do is you begin to raise your consciousness to that higher level of understanding that it is spirit proclaiming, declaring, just expressing the truth. In the beginning was the Word. And that's how our prayer works. It is the Spirit of God's Word that is being spoken here. And if God has spoken the spiritual truth of the situation, of course it's going to happen. The only thing that can deny that are the individuals who say, well, this isn't possible because the doctor says it takes this long for the bones. We had someone on our prayer list went in this week with tumors on the brain, the prognosis not pleasant, all over the body. Got a text last night from one of our own practitioners that the doctors came back and said, the text was, it is a miracle, it is miraculous, they're there, but it's not a fast growing and going to be around here a long, long time. You know? And what I've got to do is share more of those stories, because what we hear are these stories all the time. So those of us that continue to hear these stories have a deep conviction that it doesn't matter what is going on in the world or the life or the evil or the challenge, that there, when the word of God is spoken and it is looking to be spoken through you, manifestations and demonstrations happen. If we're just speaking about these spiritual principles, that's nice. But it's about having it happen in your life where it's relevant, real, and it matters. What is it that you're working on this year? I challenge you to put it in that vision sheet that we gave you last week and this week. Bring it in our box, and we'll continue to pray on it at our prayer center for the rest of the year, and I'll mail it to you. But I'm telling you, be bold enough and say, you know what? We can go ahead and buy 3.5 acres with no money. Yeah, we can do that. Yes, the doctor can say, you know what? It's not looking good, and the next day turn around and say, hey, it's a miracle. Yes, we can have these situations that can be labeled horrendous and atrocious and atrocities, and know that the presence of God wants to emerge in this situation. This is what our teaching is about, is to bring it into our life. It's not spoken in tongues or some foreign language where we don't know what's going on. We try to find out how to apply it in relevant ways in our world. It is about the application of these spiritual principles to transform your life is where it matters. So thank you. We've got Jenny right here. The mic is coming. We have a little dignity around here. We don't run. We walk. He was voted Teacher of the Year this last year up in his high school. Michael, we love you. Thank you for doing that with our kids.
So when we do our treatments and our prayers, we talk about releasing the prayer into the law of mind. And I wondered, can you explain what is law and where do you find it? Sure,
okay. When we let our prayers, or our treatments as we call our prayers, right? You go to a medical doctor for a physical treatment, or a medical practitioner for a physical treatment, you go to a spiritual practitioner for a spiritual mind treatment. And so the question is, when we release it, because that's important, that's our prayer, we have 5 steps, and I'll go over that in class. It's a recognition, the Spirit's everything, and that means I'm one with it, unification. Realization is recognizing the situation from the God perspective, and if God spoke, boom, it's done. You're filled with gratitude. That's like the 4th step. And the 5th one is you let it go. Right? You don't keep digging it up. Hey, are you growing today? Oh, I put you back. No, you let it go because you trust this law that Ginny was asking about. Where is it? Well, that's the easy question. Like, where is gravity? Everywhere, right? Where is it's done unto you believe? Everywhere. The cause of where? Everywhere. The law is a spiritual principle that you can't see. but you can see results. This is how you work with it. Like the law of buoyancy. You can't see the law of buoyancy, but you throw something in the water, you figure out how it works, and you float things, and before long you're building battleships and football field things of cement that float out there. It's crazy. But you figure out how the law works, and it doesn't know large or small, and it is always working. It's, you step off the cliff, you're going down. That's the way gravity works. It doesn't matter if you're a prince or a pauper, a savior or saint. You're going down. And so the law is done unto you as you believe. We kind of call it the creative process. It's like what you sow is what comes back. The Bible talked about the bridge you cast upon the waters comes back. It's done unto you as you believe. That is the spiritual principle of how it works. Robert Browning, the wonderful poet, said there's the love and the law. The love is the personal aspect. It is the heart. It is the color. It is the warmth. And the law is that which is dependable. It's infallible. It is the science aspect. It always works, and you begin to see the results. And what you have to do is let go of these words that Spirit speaks as you, and it goes into the fertile soil that produces. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what the situation is. You can be in a deep hole, and the law is still working in those darkest of times, the most atrocious of times, or you can be sitting on the peaks of the mountains, the highest of times. It's not any more or any less in one place or the other. It is a constant, steady, dependable, infallible, mechanical, mathematical, assured kind of responsiveness to the embodiment of that which you have just spoken. And when I say speak, I'm not necessarily saying words. It's really the energy, the essence, the vision, the feeling that is behind it, which really is what activates this responsiveness of the life in which we live. So, thank you. And that's what we teach in classes, how to use that law to bring about the greater good. So, and what happens in our evolution, let's go over there. Hey, Mark. Hey, how's the leg? A miracle. You broke it just the end of last year. You were in the hospital.
Actually, it was 4 weeks ago tomorrow. Oh,
are you in a cast?
I left the hospital in a splint, but you found out that happened, and you were praying for me. And the fourth day, when I went into the bone doctor, he said it had healed enough to be a fracture, so I didn't have to wear a cast.
Wow, that is amazing.
I'm really happy about that.
That is good.
That was 6 weeks I was looking forward to.
Thank you. Hey, cameraman, he's one of your guys. He was of our camera. Focus in so people around the country can see who's on the other side of the camera and how fun. So you still ride motorcycles?
No, the motorcycle was totaled. $7,000 of damage, so it wasn't rideable again. But my head got hurt too. I had like a brain injury, like bruising of the brain, and I can't get somebody to look at the X-ray thing. The CAT scan or whatever that is.
Sure.
So I just want to put that out there so that somebody looks at it, goes the way the leg went.
Okay. So when we do our prayer today, you listen in for that request in there, and what you will find is a responsiveness this week, because that is how that works. You see, we just activate that divine essence. And I don't need to tell God, if you want to call it God, what to do. I just need to come into that alignment with the vibrancy of Spirit, and it shows up in those relevant ways in our world. And you will find this week that you will have motion on that. But it's your responsibility to lift it. When I say, hey, put it out there, say, okay, I'm ready to receive the good that's here. And we'll let you report back.
I see myself getting completely back to healthy.
Good. I do too. So,
and my question is, how do I shift this into I want to be a leader of laughter. That's what I want to do this year, to be a leader of laughter, to stand up and get other people to laugh with me.
Okay.
As much as I could do.
I see it for you.
Right?
That's it.
That's it.
The laughter's yours, around you, surrounds you. Who else? Question. Yes, James, right here.
Okay. My question that came to me while you were speaking is, sometimes when you are meditating or in a quiet place and you feel like you're very centered and very empowered, you slip into hoping. And what tools are there to recognize that? Because a lot of times what will happen is you'll get complete. And instead of feeling here, you're here. And instead of feeling enlightened, you feel encumbered. And it almost like masquerades.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're doing it already. It's the noticing part. It's like a Vipassana meditation where you just bring your awareness, noticing. And so that's the way you move through it. You're in this deep meditation. You're like connected. You're beyond words. Everything's just right. You're on that divine frequency. Everything is good. Healing's going on. You don't even know what it is, but something's happening. And then you come back and hey, what was that? And we're hoping. You try to intellectualize. And you notice, you know what? I'm coming back. See, if you had it all down and you were in that nirvanic place forever, you wouldn't be here. You'd be done with this world. You had got your assignment. But you know what? The fact that you're still here doing the spiritual practices means you're working on it. I'm still working on it. And I've noticed is once I got it down, I'm given like the same issue, but just at a bigger level. Can I really believe it? You know, I got it down. You know, I got the tummy ache handled now. Here's a big one in the physical form. Or, hey, you know, we've got a building, you know, that's, you know, well, I don't know, I have $3 million now. Okay, can you believe at $6 million? You know, you got the relationship that is stretching you a little bit. In a way, it's bringing up old patterns. And all of a sudden, am I going to move to a new level? Am I going to get what I didn't get in the last one quicker now? And what happens is as you bring this noticing awareness, you're coming from the mountaintop, you're coming from a higher place, you're coming from the objective perspective, because so often we're caught up as the experiencer of what's going on. But if you can notice yourself experiencing what's going on, you're not the experience. You're the one who is noticing the experience that is going on. And what happens in meditation is you begin to move to that next level of personal observation, and it is from that place of detachment that you notice yourself going through whatever it is you're going through, and you can say, you know what? I'm not going there anymore. What was that song Kenny was singing? You know, it's like I'm no longer going back to what I've known. You know, I've drawn the line, and I'm going to run free of that. And so that is a great deep spiritual practice, is to turn into the observer or the witness of your experiences. And so often we feel or we think that I'm what I think. But if you can notice what it is you're thinking, you're not the thinker. You're the one noticing the thinking that I'm now hoping that this is going to come about. No, I got to go back into that vibration where it was all just unable to even articulate it. It was just a vibrant frequency of divine resonance that really makes no verbal or logical sense, but something happened at the cellular level that was so real that it cannot be denied. And I don't need to analyze it. I just need to be aware. So, thank you for that. Another question. Someone. Yes, over here. How's it going? Where are the kids?
Be over shortly.
They in our youth program?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's good. Do they enjoy it up there?
Oh, they love it.
Nice.
Yeah, they're a little shy when they get over here. We want them to speak up and talk to you, but they'll get there.
They'll get there. They all do. Then you won't be able to get the microphone from them. Then they're going to want my job, you know. It's just...
How do you remember to love the journey? You know, so the goal is never as gratifying as getting there, and the one journey leads to the next. So, but it's tiring. You know, how do you remember to love it?
Well, I think once again we bring it back to your awareness. You know, you got to remember it's the journey. It's life is about the journey, and everything that goes on in our world, I believe, is our spiritual practice. So those that stretch you more, that challenge you more, that wake you up at 3 a.m., man, that's going to the next level of your spiritual practice. And to be able, as we're talking about, what happens is life allows you to bring a spiritual principle that doesn't know large or small. It is dictated by our own consciousness. And so all of a sudden you say, you know what? I got to remember this journey I signed up for. When I came into this world, I accepted whatever the curriculum would be. I know it's going to support my soul's growth and evolution. And as I am struggling here to push through whatever it is that needs to be pushed through, and when there doesn't seem quite enough there to take care of what I thought should be being taken care of at this point, I've got what it takes inside of me to call forth a greater expression of the abundant good good and the health and the joy and the love and the excitement and the passion and the fun so I can live my life with a sense of fulfillment and success. But that's the goal. I want to get back to this journey is just part of the spiritual practice, and it's all been provided, and I will know what the next step is when I get there, but I don't need to have all the answers today because I'm not there. I'm here, and all I need to know is what that next step is. And so I don't get it all right now. It's like the old saying, like you open the refrigerator and you got sour milk and you look at it, and then you put it back in and close the door. It's like, you got to deal with what's before you now, and you can't be given all the food in advance. You got to deal with what's sour. You got to deal with experience the joy. And what happens is you learn to experience the passion of the ups and the downs, and the ups and the downs. And if you notice, that's the heartbeat. It's not. That's flatline. That means you're dead. And so you want to be able to say, "Boy, this is rough, and I'm scared." But I know Spirit will provide. It always has. I'm sitting at this point right now next to my beloved, just loving this new year and the possibilities. And, and with that, you're calling in something that's going to stretch you. When you call in something that's going to stretch you, that means it's going to stretch you. That's the way it works. But you then begin to be the vortex of knowing that it's going to be okay. It's already okay. And so what you get to do is move into that okayness of it all and continue to speak from that place of manifestation and demonstration and the goal, the vision, and the success. And what you will find is life lining up to support that for you. So, thank you. Okay. We got 2 more questions, and we'll wrap it up there.
Hi there.
Hi.
Today's my first time visiting your church.
Well, welcome. How'd you find us?
I just heard about it. I'm
glad.
Yeah, well, no, there's a couple of things. So I'm studying to be a neuroscientist, so I look at things from a molecular level. So what I'm curious to know is, what is your opinion on quantum leaps, and how can people more physiologically embody without going back into fear and going back into that old neural network? What do you feel like are the blocks, and what are the things that people can do to actually be able to step into quantum leaps as being your norm rather than your default?
Well, I think what's happening, we're asking about the quantum leap, and the quantum leap is really that part that takes us beyond the step of cause and effect, because, linear, you see here's A, here's B, and you see the line that goes there. But when you're operating in the realm of grace, it leaps from here to there without a logical, sequential kind of move. And as Spirit begins to manifest in our lives, and grace is the field in which we are operating, what happens is Spirit is everywhere. So it can pop here, and it can pop here, and it can pop here with wholeness, healing, abundance, well-being, joy, understanding, clarity. And these things continue to pop, not because I am calling them forth, but because I bring my awareness to the ever-present, or the omnidimensional, the everywhere present Spirit. The fullness of the divine is in every space. And so to get from here to New York, I don't have to go in a straight line. In the realm of mind, you can be there instantly. And so the body can begin to respond in a non-linear or non-time frame. And so instantaneous healing is a result of that. All of a sudden, you can begin to direct your neurons on new neural pathways, but that's not quantum. It is a scientific cause and effect kind of thing. But the neurons that fire together, wire together, is the famous saying that is out there. But as you begin to get the brain working in significant kind of ways, it opens up to the new expressions of Spirit that are beyond our present understanding, which looks like a quantum leap from here to there, and all of a sudden we're there without the journey.
Just to stand corrected a little bit, actually brain chemistry is quantum. I mean, it is actually physics. So that's kind of the third component they're coming from and stuff like that. So my question is how do people... my own personal struggle has been trying to titrate between my intellect and my ability to feel. But one of the biggest things I personally struggle with has been like personal worthiness, like self-worth, in terms of like actually when it comes, like I've had so many things happen in the past 6 months that are like literally things I've been trying to like white knuckle my way towards personally and professionally, and everything just popped. And one of the things that I'm kind of curious about is in my own physiology, is how do you actually get to the point where you can actually feel that and accept that and stay in that state of grace. That's kind of where I'm kind of at.
That's beautiful. And so we can spend a lot of time with that. So Tuesday night, I'm teaching class, and we will go directly into that spot and assist you with that, because I got you like the last question. So I gave you one answer. I got one before you, and I got to wrap it up. But I'd love to have you in class on Tuesday nights, because I love talking about the quantum field and exactly how it shows up in the physical experience. And it's absolutely the direction in which this science of mind is moving. So thank you. All right. Jackie, there's one other question right here. The last one.
Hello.
Hello.
So last week was my first time here. I come from a traditional Christian background, but I've always kind of felt like things in the Bible were not quite right. So how do you explain that? Are there books that explain this way of thinking? Because this way of thinking really resonates with me more than traditional Christianity.
Beautiful. Okay. So in support of that, is this going? Yes. Okay. So wonderful question. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, came out of traditional background in New England, and you can find in the textbook a lot of the interpretations, metaphysical interpretations that are in the Bible. And what we believe about the Bible is it's a wonderful spiritual book filled with analogies and spiritual truths and just wonderful insights. But we don't believe it's the only book. And we believe it is a wonderful book, but so is the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and the Gita and just all sorts of the poetry that will inspire you and take you to the mystical place. And so a lot of the Bible is history, a lot of the Bible is allegorical, a lot of the Bible are wonderful spiritual truths. And what's relevant is how it integrates into your life. And if it works for you, the different sayings, that it's beautiful. What we believe about Jesus, which is also an important part for Christianity, is that we believe that this was a man by the name of Jesus who exemplified a level of awareness, a connectedness, if you would, a consciousness. We call it the Christ consciousness. When you have a sense of connection where you are absolutely in that sense of oneness with the infinite, because as we were talking earlier, spirit is everything. That means I'm one with that. I'm not all of it, but I've got to be one with that. When you can get to that place where there is no separation, you have reached the Christ consciousness, the mystical, the sense of oneness, and of course your words will produce results and manifest. So we look at that man, Jesus, as a prototype, as an example, as a teacher, as a wonderful way, but not the only way. The way is through the consciousness, not through the man. It is a consciousness that heals and transforms. And he said, what I can do, you can do it too. Yeah, he never went to the moon. And so there are infinite possibilities that are available for anyone who exemplifies that level of understanding. And we don't believe in having an intermediary. I don't need to go to my saint, my savior, my guru, or someone to go to God for me, because if I am spirit, then I don't need to go to someone to get to me. What I need to do is raise my field of awareness and realize I am that. So when I speak the word into the law, that responds at the level of my belief. It's done unto you as you believe. And so we believe the Holy Book is a beautiful holy book, as there are many beautiful holy books, as well as there's powerful songs of today and poets and wonderful examples and teachers and avatars and gurus and saints that have walked this planet as examples, not someone I need to give my power away and say, hey, you got to do it for me, but rather as a reminder of what is possible, as the possible human, as the possible expression of the divine in this world. And so we include the teachings of Christianity. We say we're inclusively Christian, but not exclusively, because the teachings of the Jains or the teachings of the Tao or the teachings of any of those great things that are the spiritual truth are what are in here. And so religious science doesn't have the dogmas and the creeds and the rules of some of the traditional religions, but rather Ernest Holmes said, this isn't a revelation to me. I'm finding this common thread of truth in all these great religions. If you just drop all the rules and regulations, we're kind of saying the same thing. One God, it's love, and to use it in your life. So, a wonderful question. Thank you, and welcome to Seaside. All right, nice job, everyone. Hey, let's keep it going. Bring our wonderful Kenny Dive back to the stage here. Hey.
Branches from the trees have fallen down, and all the leaves are scattered on the ground, and all I can hear is just the sound of the wind, picking up the pieces as we go. Well, they may be broken, but there is still hope. Time will heal the wounds the winds have left for us, and we will grow again, and we will fight to save what's left. This broken home is just for walls to mend. Storms come, storms go, they pass. I felt you leaving me so long ago, and I tried to listen, but you didn't know. I could only hear what wouldn't hurt me so. I'm thankful for the time we had to share, and I'll let you go, but know that I still care. Things may change, but I will always love you dear. We will grow again, and we will fight to save what's left. This broken home is just for walls to mend. Storms come, storms go, they pass, and I'm looking toward the day that this cloud is far away from us. But until then, we must stay strong with hearts full of trust, and we will go again, and we will fight to save what's left. This broken home, it's just for walls to mend. Storms come, storms go, they pass. Storms come, storms go, they pass. Storms come, storms go, they pass.
That is Kenny Dye. Beautiful message for us. They come, they pass. Don't give your power away to them. Thank you.